Episode of the Pu'u Muay Thai Podcast is brought to you by pmtlifestyle.com. Authentic Muay Thai lifestyle by Pu'u. Definitely go check out the website at pmtlifestyle.com for some awesome lifestyle merchandise. That's for those of you out there either involved in Muay Thai, looking at getting involved in Muay Thai, and embrace a healthier lifestyle to live the life of the Nok Muay. Go check it out. All right, we're here with Mike Martinez, his son Antonio. Just getting you guys on your way out of town. You're going to go fight for national title?
Yeah.
Right? Where at?
Out in Boston.
In Boston?
Yeah.
Okay, so what date is that? Do you know
On
the date?
the Saturday, the 29th.
Saturday, June 29th,
Yeah.
2024. All right. We were just talking a little bit before I saw you fight. You said it was your 18th birthday.
The
day of weigh-ins
Yes.
for your first adult fight. It was an SAA promotion too, right?
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, to see he's still around and everything. You know, that's who brought me out here like the first time to come work out here.
It was for that show, wasn't it?
It was for that show.
I remember you were the WBC representative.
Yeah, I was like the Southwest region at that time. So it was funny to see like all this kind of come together. But back then, I said it then was the promoter was saying like, we're going to be doing this for a long time. We're trying to make Phoenix like Bangkok, trying to make Arizona like on the spot. And I see it, man. And you guys are part of that, obviously. So tell me about your gym, Monster Muay Thai. It's in Flagstaff, Arizona.
Yeah, Monster Muay Thai in Flagstaff, Arizona. We moved up to Flagstaff in 2012.
Mm-hmm.
We were training down here with Denny Brent. We were part of the Power MMA team then. And just family stuff, had to move up north. And that's kind of where we were born and raised. So went back home and got Danny's blessing to open a gym and his backing and stuff, which was kind of cool.
Oh, nice. So you were training, like, was Danny like your coach at that time, or?
He was, yeah. And I wasn't fighting anymore. I broke my legs kind of bad.
Oh, shit.
And so I was like, I couldn't fight anymore. Yeah. But I was like, I guess you could say like one of his assistant coaches, his pad holders. I was helping get everybody ready for fights and stuff.
Nice. Where was that at?
We were still at Power MMA at that time.
Power MMA. Was that in the Phoenix Valley, or was
Gilbert, Arizona?
In Gilbert. Okay, so nearby where his gym is now.
Yeah, correct.
Ah, okay. Now I'm getting context on that side, because I only know I know all of you guys from like fighting and stuff like that, but I'm still learning a lot about like how deep shit is here in like Arizona. How everybody's connected.
Everybody's connected in Arizona.
Everybody, right? And so what made you like decide to open up a gym? Was it just moving, like you said, family stuff?
When we moved up there, just quick Google search of Muay Thai in Flagstaff, there was nothing.
Yeah, there's nothing. I think it's just you guys.
Yeah, I mean, and there was, even at that time, nobody even really knew what Muay Thai was in Flagstaff. So definitely, Antonio was 11 years old at that time, and I think he had maybe like 4 or 5 fights or so.
How old do you know?
23.
23.
Yeah.
Okay, and then how many years ago was this?
This is 12 years ago.
12 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my younger son was like 6, and he had 1 or 2 fights. And just to keep him busy, and I asked Danny, I said, do you think I even know enough to coach these kids?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, dude, you could do it. Just make sure you get down and train with us still. And we did for years. We would come down to Phoenix, and he's brought up a team for our first show that we did in 2014.
Sweet. So you said the first show 2014 that you came down and fought on, or?
No, so I put a show on in Flagstaff in 2014.
Shit. Okay, was it so you're doing you're bringing it back? Is it the same promotion name, different name?
It's a different name.
Different name.
We did Battle of the Pines last time.
Flagstaff. Yeah.
Flagstaff Fight Night was kind of the promotion name that we were going to run with. We ran 2 shows out of it, and then we
just stopped doing it.
It's difficult. Flagstaff is a very small town.
Oh yeah. Well, it's also the time where like Muay Thai now and Muay Thai then is different, much different.
Yeah.
Right. So, what made you want to bring that back? I guess is it just kind of having Muay Thai in you guys' town?
That, and building a platform for the local kids in Flagstaff to perform in front of their home crowd. We have to travel everywhere.
Can you pull that mic just a little bit this way, like it bends in
Yeah, so it's just right in front of you. There you go, right there.
Yeah.
That way it catches you better. There you go. Yeah. So having a local platform for the kids.
Yeah, so
and
we don't
for
have to travel.
people there. Yeah, it's nice to be able to bring people to you.
Yeah.
Right. Be on the so did you fight on that show back in 2014 also, or?
I did not on that one. I fought on the second one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it'll probably be nice to be able to do stuff like in your backyard, right? It's like, oh, you're used to always having to travel, stay at hotels, do all this stuff. To have something where you can like be in your backyard. I've gotten to fight in my near my hometown once. You know the promoter Dennis Warner?
Yes.
So he did a show in Port Hueneme, which is like 2 towns over from Ventura. And I was like, I get to sleep in my own bed tonight. Like this is awesome. So like it's definitely a unique feeling, and you get used to being on the go though, because like you're just talking, you just fought over at Ratchatham Stadium, in Bangkok, and it's like you get used to always being on the go, right?
Yeah.
So, have you ever gotten to fight somewhere like where you're nearby where you were living?
Yeah. So in 2018, I moved down to Phoenix and started training with Vin, and he had the SAA shows. So I fought too. So
you were getting to sleep in your own bed.
I slept in my bed. Yeah.
That's always nice to be able to do. And then, Mike, were you fighting when you were training with Danny? Also?
I was, yeah. My last fight was, I believe it was Cinco de Mayo of 2011.
Oh shit,
it was a long time ago.
Yeah, but Cinco de Mayo fights, like,
yeah,
that's the.
It was cool. It was an outdoor event. It was big. There was like, I don't know, with the whole Cinco de Mayo event going on, there was like 30,000 people there.
Oh shit!
It was a huge event. Didn't go as planned.
Yeah, it happens.
I wish I didn't end my career that way.
Yeah, well, you're saying you broke your leg or something like?
I broke it in training, so I used to run a lot. I cut way too much weight, and I was running a lot, created a bunch of microfractures, and then kicking hard, blocking kicks hard. I just broke, had a tib fib break in both legs within 2 weeks of each other. So,
oh shit! Like, did you have to get surgery, or
so
was it like a hyaline fracture? Or
no, it was a compound fracture. Yeah. But they recommended, so like the leg kind of popped like a balloon, and it created a bunch of fascial muscle tear. Ooh. And they're like, well, you can like get a surgery, and we'll have to cut you from your knee to your ankle and try to repair this fascial muscle
and let it kind of air out and everything, or they have to relieve the pressure in it, or?
Well, the pressure subsided by itself.
Yeah.
It was more of trying to connect the fascial muscle, because like the fascial muscle holds the bigger muscle groups in place.
Yeah, it's like a big sheath that goes around.
Even now, if I run, like when I was in Thailand in March of last year, I ran a little bit and I was training. I kind of wanted to make a comeback, but my muscles were falling out of place.
Yeah, that's one of those things that really puts a lot of pressure when you say fascia. I actually just had, you know who Don Heatrick is?
No.
He is Heatrick's strength and conditioning. He works with like Liam Harrison, a bunch of other like high level athletes for strength and conditioning. And I was talking to him specifically about fascia, because like we were talking about the development of fascia and how it was something that not a lot of people really, they used to just kind of cut through it. But a lot of like the stuff with jump rope, jogging on your toes, jumping on the tire, these things that you do in Muay Thai actually help strengthen the fascia. So it makes sense that you would be being like, oh yeah, this is not working.
I've had so many surgeries. I opted to not do the surgery and see if it would heal on its own. It never really did.
Yeah. Do you think, I wonder if it would have like changed it all though, even if you did get the surgery, because that's a pretty serious break. Yeah.
So the bones healed. They were able to correct the bones. They healed. It was just a fascial muscle.
Yeah.
And even best case scenario, they said it was a 50-50 chance that they could connect it right. Because it's such a thin, it's a thin layer of muscle.
Yeah. It's hard to get it to like actually heal over and everything. And it's easy to tear again.
But I'm a better coach than fighter anyway. So it's good.
I can, that's relatable. So when it comes into fighting and all that stuff, obviously you put that to the side, started coaching kids, did a couple promotions and stuff like that. Antonio, you're fighting now, so you're fighting for his national title against is it Julian Nguyen?
Julian Nguyen?
Yeah, is it? It's a Vietnamese name. It's pronounced Nguyen. Yeah, okay. Julian Nguyen. Yeah, I actually met him in 2015 at like the WKA Worlds, something like that. So I think he had the pleasure of getting to fight against. It wasn't much of a fight because it was. I'm pretty sure it was a Tum Sit Yatong. He was in an amateur tournament. Australia brought in one fighter from Australia for WKA Worlds, and it was Tum Sit Yatong. It's like For an amateur tournament, bro. Really?
Yeah,
Come on.
right.
But that was like my first taste of like international stuff. I think it was for a lot of those guys too. It's like, oh, this is normal everywhere else. The tournament director wasn't really happy though, because it was like the only team that really did that.
Yeah.
So that's another story, but that's why I'm familiar with that too. So tell me a little bit about this fight that's coming up. You said it's on No Boundary Fight. Where is that?
No Boundary. It's out in Boston.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, be this Saturday, June 29th.
Mm-hmm. And what weight class is that one for?
147.
So it's for welterweight.
Yeah.
Correct. Welterweight national title, USA national title?
Yeah.
Sweet.
WBC.
Nice. WBC national title, welterweight. That's a popular weight class too.
Oh, yeah.
Were you lower before?
Yeah. I fought.
You used to like 135, I think, right?
I think I fought at 138.
Yeah.
Something like that.
It's normal to go up like in like your 20s. You start putting a little bit more like muscle mass on, your testosterone and stuff like that. Body's growing.
Yeah. So that was the lowest I fought. But I'll stay around 145, 147.
You like more of the welterweight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I might mess around with the 142.
When you fought at Rotterdam Nern, was it the same weight class? Or
If I don't, it's in kilos out there. I forget.
what? How many kilos was it?
66 kilos.
66 kilos.
So
Yeah, it's still
around the same.
Yeah, it's still around the same. And out there, it's kind of like depending on what it is, they don't really care as much.
Yeah.
Unless it's for a title. So now that you guys are going out and you're training with Dad full time, right? Yeah. So you guys are both going over there. You were in Thailand. Did you go to Thailand, Mike, with Antonio when he fought over at Rotterdam Nern?
I did not.
You didn't go over?
No.
Okay. But you said you were there and you said March?
The March of the previous year. Yeah.
Previous year. Where did you go over there?
We we kind of traveled around a little bit, but we made home at FA Group.
Nice.
We trained there a few weeks, and then we headed out to travel and see some Thailand.
Have you been to Thailand before that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Normally, when we go out, we train with Sit Muay Thai.
Oh, okay.
But we kind of switched it up.
Yeah, that's kind of out in the sticks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit, and we had a sole purpose of getting better in the clinch, and so
FA
going
Group.
to FA Group.
Yeah, go
is-
clinch.
Yeah. We had a friend, one of Antonio's friends been out there. He's actually back in the States now, but he had been out there for about a year at that point.
Okay.
And so he kind of facilitated things for us.
Yeah, it's being over there. Awesome. I'm actually heading out to Bangkok next week.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Where you headed?
I'm gonna be in Bangkok. Work trip. We have a guy fighting on Rotterdam Nern, the knockout series.
Nice.
Yeah, not RWS. So, but we're going out there. Usually, go to a gym called Kit Kamtorn Gym. We've been bringing students over there since like 2017. So bring them over there, go train. If some of them were like doing MMA, so they're already pro.
Yeah.
They can't fight here. So is it, hey, go get you like a shitty low level fight over there and go learn, right?
Yeah.
So that we'll kind of do those kinds of things too. But we also have people go over compete pro debut or something like that too. But yeah, it's good. How long you been going over there for?
It's 2015.
Since 2015. You've been over there quite a
I've
bit.
been there twice. Yeah.
Okay, so did you go with your dad?
I did not.
No.
So the first time we went was for an IFMA tournament, and that's when we went to Sit Muay Thai.
Oh, okay.
And then when I just got back, I was at Sordetjapan.
Got it. And then which IFMA tournament was that? Was that 2016? Okay,
Yeah.
so that was a while ago.
Yeah. It was the first junior tournament that USA put together.
Got it.
And, Antonio and his little brother, actually, like 8 of my students.
And like Tierra Brandt was on that and everything.
Yeah.
I think that was the killer youth team that year, right?
Oh, yeah.
That was like the team like USA showed up, baby.
Yeah. We showed up pretty good. I had 6 of my students on that team.
Oh, damn.
And I think our gym brought back 3 medals.
Nice.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. What Corley and them were doing when they took over from USMF, because before it was Anthony Lynn, and he kind of just stepped in and got a lot of activity going pretty fast.
Yeah.
So I got to give him props. I talk to him quite a bit every once in a while. Some shit comes across. I'm like, hey, I need to talk to you about this. Or I'll ask him if I see something happen. I'm just like, hey, so how's it going, man?
I think the USMF or the USA Muay Thai just got eligibility to sanction fights in Arizona.
Yeah, because they have their U.S. They got the approval from the U.S. Olympic Committee from USOC, so they can get the way that like commissions codes are written is similar with USA Boxing, right? They're allowed to self-regulate and then report to the state. It's kind of like they step aside and let them operate, they still oversee them. They still have to report to the state, but as long as they abide by the rules and do everything they say they're going to do, then the state doesn't get involved. So there's no like, there's other organizations, USMTA, ISKA, those ones have to go through the state as a third party sanctioning. So like with this, it kind of changes things a little bit for sure. When it comes into any of those things too, though, it also comes into like staffing. All right. Like you were asking me if I was going to be working at your event.
Right.
I found out I'm the only referee.
You're going to be the only ref.
Yeah, but I think you have like 8 fights, right?
No, we've got 13.
13?
13 or 14.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've worked like all these tournaments and stuff like that. So like, I'm a young guy.
I told Bob we were shooting for 12.
Yeah.
I think we have on the card around like 13 or 14.
I hope they all stay together. I'm going to keep my fingers crossed for you.
Me too.
You know how it goes.
There's some good fights.
So what's the name of this show now? What's the name of this promotion?
So we're doing Kicks on Route 66.
Kicks on
Nice.
For those that don't know, you guys are on Route 66.
Our gym is on 66, and we originally planned on having the show in the parking lot, and that's all changed because monsoon season kicked off, and it's been raining like 6 days in a row.
You're like, this is not going to work.
So I got scared right away, and I was like, we need some security. And so we found a cool venue, but Kicks on Route 66, there's like a flashy song that goes with it. I think the Eagles sing it, right?
Yeah, I think so. Do you guys have a website or anything like that?
We don't have a website about
Instagram.
It's under construction.
So, okay, cool.
The goal behind Kicks on 66 is like, we're doing this one show. We're going to have multiple shows for the rest of the year, not Kicks on 66. It's going to be ran through Monster Promotions.
Got it.
But next year is the 100-year anniversary for Route 66. And so Flagstaff is putting on a big party. And so we want to be a part of the party.
Like you're saying, like the Cinco de Mayo thing, being a part of the 100-year for you guys,
huge.
Kind of putting on the map for the, hey, there's Muay Thai here too. I see what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's really cool, man.
Just trying to, it's with Flagstaff being a small community as it is, you kind of have to like get creative with the marketing aspect of things.
Oh, yeah.
And tap into other areas outside of just the Muay Thai community because it needs to be built.
Oh, yeah. You need to build the awareness of it. Definitely, I can relate with that. Our town, it was known for boxing. So everybody knew boxing, right? So I had to do a lot of education on, hey, this is how Muay Thai is different than boxing, right? We had to do a lot of this kind of stuff. But you guys also have a university there in town too.
We do.
Yeah. How is that with like, when it comes into like your guys' gym and like, do you get people from there? No?
We do. I mean, this year when after graduation, we lost like almost 20 students.
Yeah.
Everyone goes home for the summer.
Hey, coach, I need to cancel. I'm going to be gone. Yeah.
And I said, well, you're going to have to pay the new rates when you come back.
Our Santa Barbara location's in the university town. They have UCSB, UC Santa Barbara. Same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Coach Ryan deals all the time. It's like you have the call shoes. Like, hey, coach, I'm leaving. It's like, oh, I'm not calling me surprised.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it happens.
Yeah.
It's cool, though. I mean, Flagstaff's definitely growing. The university's growing. They add like 10 to 20,000 students every year.
Oh, no shit.
And the town is overrun by college students now.
Yeah. How is that living there? Like,
it sucks.
Yeah. What sucks about it?
Like traffic. Like the town isn't really built for that many people. And so, to get our town, I think is 7 or 8 miles from end to end. And if you go through town or you don't know the shortcuts, it'll take, depending on the time of day, it could take 30 to 45 minutes to get across town.
Might as well run.
You could.
Yeah. Might as well run across sometimes. Damn, man. Well, I think a lot of places that are similar to Flagstaff, where it's a smaller town that blows up, they experience a lot of these. That's why I'm asking. Like our town, like we had this stuff too. We had a big photography school that was in town called Brooks Institute of Photography and Cinematography. It flooded everything, but they actually were trying to buy up parts of the town and put it in like classrooms. And someone didn't dot their I's across their T's and get anything in writing. So they kicked all these people out of these buildings, like these businesses. And then they filed bankruptcy. Oh, man. All the landlords are left holding the bag for a bit. And then in Santa Barbara, they have the #1 city college in the country. And Santa Barbara is a very small town. Very small.
Yeah.
Town. It's like 23,000 people. I think it's the entire town. Oh. And for like a town that has Oprah and like all these people, that's not a lot of people.
Right.
And those people, they don't interact. We never see them or anything like that either. but the effect on the traffic, like you were saying, living there,
it's tough sometimes.
You're paying the ass, man. So, well, getting back onto it. So you guys are doing more events, and then did I hear a rumor that you guys might be doing some WBC stuff too? Or?
I'm gonna put all options out there. I mean, one of the whole things to do is to promote the fighters we have, and as of Saturday night, we'll have a WBC national champion in Flagstaff. So we're gonna have to promote him too. Yeah. So the goal is to sometime next year get legit with the state, be able to throw professional shows. The Flagstaff community is crazy. For our first event coming back in 10 years, I mean, we have probably 25 partners and collaborations for sponsorships and stuff. So,
really, that's good. They're getting behind you.
Yeah,
the community's getting
the whole community is getting behind us, and I think throwing a professional show is not really out of the question.
Yeah, well, you've been around, like you said, your team there has been there for 12 years. You meet so many people.
Yeah,
right, doing what you do, and you're really you're championing for your community. That's what that is. Like you're bringing this. This is like your passion. Like, hey, I want to bring this to my town.
Yeah,
I want you guys to see it and see what
I'm excited. I love Flagstaff. My whole family lives down here in the valley. I'm kind of solo by myself in Flag, but I wouldn't have it any other way. It's my home.
Yeah. So have you been there for 12 years or have you been there longer?
No, so I spent basically about my first 20 years of my life there.
Oh shit! Okay.
I spent very little time in Phoenix. I grew up for a few years as a small child in Scottsdale, then moved back to Flagstaff, and then I moved away for about 6 years to kind of go back to school and to follow the dream of being the fight, be a fighter, being a fighter, and all that kind of stuff.
Be in the mix, yeah. Mm-hmm. So, Antonio, what age did you start training out?
I had my first fight when I was 8, I think. Probably was training for almost a year before that.
Oh, nice.
Give or take.
Go. So, as a father, getting your son's involved in it, I gotta ask because I have a lot of friends. Like for me, my dad was a surfer. I'm obviously not a surfer. He did everything in his power to make me surf. Right? That we had a skate surfboard shop, surf industry, all that stuff. For me, I was not interested in that. It was not my thing. How'd you get them involved?
I didn't force it on them. I have 4 kids, and only 2 of them compete.
Okay.
And one of them flirted with the idea. He had 1 fight.
Do they train still, or
no?
Not really.
No, not at all. I did not let my daughter fight, which kind of going back on that. I wish I would have.
Yeah.
She's mean. She would have done well. But yeah, I didn't really force it on them. Them just growing up in the, seeing me in the gym, and then, kind of following along. Antonio was always kind of at the elite level. Right off the bat, he was pretty athletic. My youngest boy, Leandro, I tell the story all the time to people in the gym. He was about 2 or 3. I have pictures of him 2 years old in the gym. And we didn't know if he was ever going to train. We kind of just let him do his own thing.
Yeah.
But I was practicing a move with one of my coaches in the ring, and I was having a hard time. I was struggling with it. And we happened to look over, and Leandro's 3 years old, and he's perfecting the move outside the ring by himself with no instruction. So we're this kid's going to be pretty good. So he started training. He's probably the youngest kid to ever fight in Arizona. He had his first amateur fight at 5.
Really?
Yeah.
Shit. How old is he now?
He just turned 18.
Because he had 50 fights or something like that?
70. I think he just had his 73rd.
I'm off by 20. Shit. So did he do boxing as well? Or?
He has done boxing.
Yeah.
He had, I think, maybe 8 to 10, 6 to 10 boxing fights with USA Boxing.
Awesome. So obviously it's a family affair, right? You guys are going out to the fights and stuff like that. Who else do you guys close the gym when you guys go away for these big fights, or do you still have stuff going?
We still have the team going.
Going.
I make it a part of my fighters, teaching classes. It's part of their duties to teach. Being able to break down the techniques and teach them allows them to be able to break them down and attack stuff that they see a little bit better, in my opinion.
Yeah, I know. I agree with you. No, I agree.
So it's all, and we have a good team of guys, of fighters that are, handling things when we're gone. So we're gone quite often.
Yeah. Yeah. You guys are very active with your competition and stuff like that. Seeing tournaments, fights. Do you have somebody at the SAA Alliance show this last one or no?
No,
not this one.
We took the weekend off
for once in a while, right?
Yeah.
So the gym where you're at now, you've been there for 2 years, correct?
In this facility.
Yeah, in that location for 2 years. How long you guys set to be there for? Are you trying to like grow out of it? You guys planning on like setting your roots there for a bit?
We've already grown out of it. I mean, our classes are so big that, you know, we have a small gym. Our gym's about 2,000 square feet. Yeah. We have a small little, I think it's a 16-foot floor ring that hangs a couple bags off of it. And I mean, we have like 17 bags hung in the gym.
You have 17 bags in a place that small?
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah.
Sometimes there's 20 people, 10 to 20 people jumping rope out on the sidewalk. So, I mean, the goal, we have like another year on the lease, and there's a partner of mine who owns 66 Jiu-Jitsu.
Okay.
So, we're
looking at different options.
We're going to be looking for a bigger spot, I'm sure.
Yeah. And something to think about with commercial real estate is really kind of taking a dump when it's coming into like people leasing, starting businesses. People purchasing commercial real estate, selling commercial real estate. So I think you're going to be in a really good position like another year from now on that stuff.
I hope so. Flagstaff's kind of its own market in itself. It's really, I run a construction company.
Yeah.
And it's its own world.
Oh, shit. Yeah. It's in a bubble.
Yeah.
It's a bubble.
Like down here in the valley, you can get like a warehouse space, a nice space for a gym that's about $1 a square foot, $1.50 a square foot. Nothing in Flagstaff touches under $3 a square foot.
Yeah, because it's so small. It's not being built out, right?
Yeah.
So how long you been in construction for, Mike?
Like 27 years.
Shit. So you run the company? Or you work for somebody? Or
yeah. I run a pretty big company for just a guy that's local to Flagstaff.
Oh, nice, man.
Yeah.
Well, because isn't Danny Brandt also a contractor?
He is.
I've seen the similarities going on here.
I actually, when I was down here in Phoenix, I'd help him out on occasions. I was trying to just live the fighter life, but bills have to get paid too, so he'd put me to work sometimes.
Yeah. Awesome. Then obviously you built this into a business, and then you're doing your gym and stuff like that too. Did you do all the build out for your place also, or
for the gym?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's basically
you don't need a whole lot too.
It's a 20 by 60 or 20 by 80, just empty building now.
Yeah, we had so our space in Ventura, same thing. It's 2,000 square feet. So I know it's like when it's packed, it's packed. Yeah, you have to get creative with like schedules and how you do things and everything.
It's hard too. I mean, we don't want to limit people, so we'll just be crowded. We've lost a couple of like students because they're like, it's just too crowded.
Yeah, I mean that's a good problem to have though.
It is.
Yeah, it's a good problem to have is having that, because that's like, from business standpoint, you can do a lot of different things with that.
Yeah, I mean, we get 35 people in class sometimes, and that's pretty crowded.
That's capacity.
Yeah,
you're at capacity. Yeah. That's about the same thing for us. 35 is like, no more. Like, we got to wait outside.
Yeah,
for the session to be over, go run. With your promotion, the fights that are going on, obviously going up, the goal to bring that national title back to Flagstaff, right? And you've been active. I haven't seen your opponent that active. So I wish you the best of luck on that too.
Thank you.
For both of you. I know it's gonna be a good fight. I know who, because I've seen you fight a lot. I've seen him fight a lot. I'm like, oh shit! Like when he told me, I was like, that's a good match. I want to watch that one. Right, so that's on Saturday.
Saturday.
I think I know what I'm doing on Saturday night. Yeah. So when it comes into Muay Thai and training and doing all this stuff as a family, is that something that's based around like your family dynamics? I know you said like to your children don't train. Do they come to the fights at all, or is it just like completely like I don't want anything to do with that?
Oh no, it's a family affair when it comes to fights. The kids are there screaming. They love watching it. They love being a part of it. They know a lot about the sport.
They're educated on it.
They are.
Yeah.
They're super educated. They just don't fight.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, it's like you're creating the next, the fans of the sport. They're gonna help educate their friends when they're watching you fight. Like, oh no, this is what's happening.
Yeah.
Right. Of course, you were like, no, they need to fight.
I really wanted my other son to fight, and he fought once, and he lost the fight, but he was like getting really beat up in the first round, and before the fight, he was crying. He's like, Dad, I don't want to fight. He's like 10 or 12 or something. He's like, Dad, I don't want to fight. I'm like, dude, just try. Like, you trained hard for this fight. He was my younger son's, number one sparring partner. They would go at it. And he was crying before the fight. After the first round, he's like, that wasn't too bad. Second round came and he did really well. It was a very, very close round. And then the third round, he won very easily. And he sat down on the stool at the end of the third round and taking his gloves off. And he's like, I never want to fight again. And I said, why is that? He's like, I'm too lazy. This is crazy.
Oh, no way. But you know what's funny is like to have the humility or the self-awareness about how you are as a person, to at least understand like what I'm doing right now, I'm not gonna be able to do this unless I do make some changes, right? And then it's hard because then you have the coach hat and you have the dad hat, right?
That's been a hard hat to wear, or a couple hard hats to wear.
Yeah, like the switch between both, right? I can imagine that gets pretty difficult when it comes into that kind of stuff. Like it's, I'm very lucky. I don't have kids, right? But I've seen a lot of parents that like, I have to remind them like, hey, let me be the a-hole on them. That way they can go home to you and you can be like, it's okay. Yeah, coach is being a dick.
Yeah.
Like we'll talk about it. But to have that dynamic be all in one person, that's got to be tough, man.
It is very tough.
So how do you deal with that?
Still trying to learn. It's learning.
Probably a constant learning experience.
It is. It is a constant learning experience. I think probably the most significant time was because I coached, Antonio grew up playing soccer, baseball, football. He played everything, and I coached everything.
Oh.
And I think he was about 10 years old. He was playing football, and I kind of yelled at him for not making a tackle hard enough.
Mm.
And he just looked at me and his eyes were watering. He's like, Dad, do I do anything right? And I'm like, oh, man. So I kind of calmed down. But then, of course, there's times where there's a lot at stake. There's a big fight that comes up and you got to push. So it's just a matter of tipping that line of too much sometimes. Mm. And I don't know, Antonio can know whether or not I'm doing a good job there, but I think I do a pretty good job.
Yeah, well then, you're training for a national title, so you're going to go fight for a national title. So I think you would be. So Antonio, like training with your siblings and stuff too, like how does that go?
I love training with my brother. It's fun. It's like helps me kind of keep him, like show him as an example of like what he should be doing. So that's how I use it. Mm-hmm. But I really enjoy training with my brother. Or like I have little cousins at the gym. I love training.
They train. You got nice. Nice.
So I think it's fun.
Yeah. They ever try to like square up with you and like,
oh yeah, all the time.
Is that fun to be like the big brother? Be like, no, you're not quite there yet, my friend.
My other brother, Leandro, who fights, he's like, oh, just wait until I put on a little bit of weight. I'm gonna get you.
But you're much taller than him, yeah?
No,
he grew.
He grew a lot.
I haven't seen him since
he fought on Vin's show last March. When was that?
I think
you reffed his last one, which was
at the Celebrity Theater.
Or was it Celebrity Theater? It was Esteem. It was a lowrider. Yeah, he fought against the kid from Canada.
Yeah,
that was a good fight.
It was a good fight, except for the nut shots were really much. I think there was 5 or 6 of them.
Yeah, you see my gray hairs, my friend?
Yeah,
I feel you. So, is he making a return anytime? The thing is, it's hard. Like, this is one of those conversations that I've had with some people when it comes into kids. This is a conversation we're having a lot with sanctioning bodies. You have kids that come up, they have 70 fights. Not every kid has that at 18. So, like, how is that going in matchmaking for him? Is it just like, hey, we're going to do tournaments for a while because we know you can get that? Like,
for him, it's a little different because he's only had 6 fights since he's been 16. All those fights came before he was 10. Mm-hmm. And there was a big speed and power adjustment that we had to make from 16. His first fight back after the 6-year layoff from 10 to 16, he fought Christian Rodriguez, who's very well known
from Pure Heart. Yeah.
And Christian put a whooping on him. It was a 5-round whooping.
Yeah.
And I mean, Leandro's tough.
Yeah.
He's a tough kid. And his timing was off. Ring rust is a real thing, especially
going from your body's growing, you're longer, taller, different weight and everything.
So we made some adjustments, and he actually fought Christian twice. He lost twice. The second time was a questionable fight.
He did better on that one.
Oh yeah. He got I think it was the 3rd or 4th round. He hit him with a nice right hand, put him down, got the 8 count.
Nice.
That was at Freedom in New York. Freedom.
Oh, okay.
In New York.
Okay.
That was a good fight. I
think I remember seeing that one. I remember seeing the match. I haven't watched the whole fight, but I remember seeing like the results because isn't that crazy how much activity there is going on with Muay Thai?
That's pretty crazy.
All right,
it's so much.
It's insane. It's amazing how much is going on here, and and then you add you to the mix, man.
I know, and I've made some phone calls. I don't want to step on anybody's toes. I think each show has its own niche.
Yeah,
what they do and what they do well, and I'm not trying to pull anything away from anybody. Just add another platform.
Yeah. Well, from my understanding, you guys are all pretty. I mean, you're fighting on each other's shows, right? You're bringing in people. It's like that's part of like the circuit that's kind of like created this really cool industry thing here in the state of Arizona. So I think it's super cool what you're doing, and like just hearing your reasons why, bringing it to Flagstaff because that's your town, that's your community. Like
we have a huge upper hand too. Us from Flagstaff, people don't realize that it's 7,500 feet
elevation.
we I don't want to say what gym it was, but on my show in 2014, had a very good gym who I know firsthand that they trained super hard. And they had a fighter that just left it all in the ring. They left in an ambulance because they were so exhausted, so tired. And it wasn't because of a lack of training. I guarantee that because the coach wouldn't have allowed him to be in the ring. But the elevation, you'll see it. You're going to be reffing the fight. So you'll see that 3/4
you might
of
need
the
a break.
people,
Yeah.
You might have to stop a couple fights because the people are just so tired.
Well, the thing is I've seen, so I fought in Mexico City a couple times. So the elevation, like, remember my friend fought, I'm like, hey, so how was he? He's like, dude, round 2 sucked. I remember round 2 sucked, but then I started feeling good after that. And but where I saw it the most was they had the USA Muay Thai, the qualifiers they did in Denver, the first one. That girl Coral, her last name starts with the C, but she almost had to
Florida.
Yeah, she almost had to go ambulance. And I guess she has like asthma, and then add that with the elevation, the pushing. It was like bad. They had to like stop the show and let the EMTs go do the stuff because of the elevation. And a lot of fighters were having an issue that didn't come up and acclimate, that didn't plan for it too. Right. So no, that is definitely
we're 2,000 feet higher than Denver.
Is there? Oh shit.
Denver's the mile high city, so 5,300 feet or whatever.
Yeah. Well, there's for me, I'm into running and stuff like that too. So there's like a lot of people for like ultra marathon runners, trail runners. They go to Flag for training.
Yeah.
And it's for the elevations.
The university has a Olympic training facility there. So a lot of the Olympic athletes go there.
Yeah. And they get the elevation, they get the full on training facility. That makes sense. All right. Is that something you're tapping into or what? Outside of just the elevation? Yeah. Good. So, when it comes into like transitioning from, amateur into pro, like seeing your generation of having those opportunities to do that, right? Obviously, so it's not luck. You've put a lot of time and dedication into it. But how did you find the transition at that young age where all of a sudden you're fighting people in late 20s, early 30s and stuff like that when you're fighting adults as a pro?
I feel like it didn't affect me too much because my first adult fight, I fought a grown-ass man. And like
from Mexico.
Yeah. I mean, it was a hard fight. I felt the strength definitely mostly in the clinch. That's where I felt it the most.
Yeah.
It was just in the clinch. Fighting them on like the outside and stuff. I think I have really good fight IQ. Mm-hmm. I could compete with a lot of the best people at that time just because my experience and stuff. But for me, the biggest transition from going from amateur to pro, because that was my only amateur fight as well.
Yeah, amateur adult fight. Yeah, because you went pro.
So I went pro right after that. And then it was just getting how to work my way in the clinch, even if I wasn't as strong as some of these other guys, just finding what works for me.
When you're there.
My body type, I guess.
Yeah. Do you find that you're usually a little bit taller?
Yeah.
How tall are you?
Like 6'1", 6'2".
6'1", 6'2". And 6'2", 147. Dave. So, man, you guys. So for me, when I was competing, I was competing at 140, 147. I'm 5'8". Lucky, right? It's like, have you fought against somebody who's your height before?
I have. I fought in Mexico. I fought a dude from Australia. His name's Andrew
Andrew Webb.
Yeah.
Oh, on Triumphant?
Yeah.
Ah, yeah, I know who Andrew is. Yeah, I also oversaw one of his fights before, too.
Yeah. So I fought him in Triumph. I think he was the closest that was my height. I think we were like right about the same.
Yeah, you guys are.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you get similar body type.
Yeah, it was kind of
Tall,
weird.
lanky.
Yeah.
It was
Weird at first.
Yeah, that's
being
what I
on
was
the
gonna ask.
outside and he'll be able to like jab me.
Yeah,
I'm like,
mate,
oh,
I can't
shit.
normally get hit you. Yeah, this is unusual. And he probably felt the same, too.
Probably.
That's kind of what I was getting at. It's because it's like when you have somebody who's around your height, when you finally have it, it's like, oh, man, this is great. For me,
Yeah.
right? But then when you get somebody, it's the same thing, like you get two southpaws that go against each other. It's like all of a sudden they're like, what's going on?
do?
Yeah, what did I do? It's the same stuff you always do, dude.
Yeah.
But when it comes into for like your fighting and like you said, developing in your clinch and stuff like that, part of like going up a little bit in weight as you're becoming more of an adult, like when you're growing into your body and stuff too. Did you start adding in like strength conditioning, or what do you do anything like that or is it just like the traditional run, jump rope, calisthenics, train Muay Thai?
I think for the most part, it was like most of the traditional stuff. And then it wasn't until maybe 2 fights ago when I fought at the Celebrity Theater on the SAA show.
Yeah, the big one. Yeah.
For that fight, I was doing strength and conditioning. I felt good. Felt my weight go up a little bit. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Have you kept it up since then? Like doing the strength conditioning
I haven't
stuff?
since I got back from Thailand.
Yeah.
No.
I feel like when you go there, you get because you get all that condensed training, and it really gives you like I guess just time in training that you can get that you can't get here. Like you can get a good amount of time in training here, especially training with dad and doing all that stuff. But it's like just, hey, 3 hours morning, 3 hours afternoon, every day.
Yeah.
It just condenses like, in 3 weeks time there, all of a sudden that's like a month and a half training here.
Oh yeah.
It feels like, right? So
There's so many distractions here. Like when you go to Thailand, it's all you have.
yeah, that's what you're there for.
Yeah, that's what
right?
you go for. So you dedicate so much time. Try to tell all my students that at the gym, like, just come to the gym.
Just show up.
We have, these guys have an opportunity to work 5 hours a day, which is pretty close to Thai standards.
Yeah.
And like, just come to the gym.
Yeah,
Just have the
show
work
up.
available.
Yeah.
But you got work and you got family, and you got kids and you got this. There's always something that keeps you away.
Yeah, it's definitely, for those that don't know, like with Thailand, it's very much more relaxed. The grind, like I just had Bob on here and he was talking about when they were building the Fairtex camp back in the 90s. He'd be like, hey, go put this ring together. And he'd come back, you take a piss, you come back and they're like, oh, Ginkao, time to eat, right? He's like, dude, we got to get this ring together. So, but that's like just how Thai culture is. When it comes into it, it's like, but somehow they get shit done too. And when it comes into training, they really get shit done.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I noticed there too is a lot of like because of the way that they're paid and the pay structure, and they're like racehorses when it comes into like fighters there. Say, hey, eat, train, you sleep, do it again, you sleep as much as you can. Yeah. Right? It's like if you don't sleep, you feel it in the afternoon session. Right, or you feel it in the morning session if you stayed up late going to the fights the night before or something like that, right? Have you experienced some of that, like when you're over there? If you ended up, hey, I'm tired, but I'm here. I'm not always in Thailand. I'm just gonna stay up, and you're just like, can barely get you.
For
You just feel flat, right?
I mean, this last time I went, I was trying to make a comeback. I actually had a fight set up. I was gonna fight. In Arizona.
Oh no shit!
It was like all preliminary talks. There was no contract.
Yeah.
But I was gonna fight here in Arizona, and so we had this trip to Thailand planned, and I'm like, I'm gonna get into it. I think day one I trained both morning session, or no, day one I trained afternoon session. Day two I trained morning and afternoon. Day three I didn't train.
Yeah,
I couldn't move.
Yeah.
And then so I took a day off, and then I could only train once a day. Like my body just couldn't do it.
Yeah. Add in the other shit you were dealing with your legs and stuff like that on top of it.
Yeah.
How old are you, Mike?
I'll be 41.
You're 41. Yeah.
The weekend of I turned 41 the weekend of my show.
Oh shit. Okay. So yeah, I didn't know how old you were, honestly. So you got him pretty young, huh?
Yeah, I found out on my 17th birthday I was going to be there.
And there you go.
Yeah.
Damn, man.
Life changed quick.
Oh yeah, that you grew up real fast, right? I've seen a lot of people make that switch. I'm like, I hear they have a kid. I'm like, oh man, we'll see. And then they make the switch. I'm like, okay, we're good. They're gonna be a good dad. Obviously you got, you got 4 kids, one of them fighting for a national title. You got another one's got 70 plus fights. That's pretty intense. When it comes in for like your gym, what's the plans for that? Is your plans? You said you have a partner with a jiu-jitsu school and stuff like that. Are you trying to are you trying to branch out from Flagstaff, or are you just going to be staying in Flagstaff?
We'll just be staying in Flagstaff. I mean, the ultimate goal is, we've created a great community for our students and the students that come in. Antonio's got, the gyms for Antonio and for Leandro and for my girlfriend Julieta. It's for them. And, there's some plans that might semi-retire and head out to Thailand for 6 to 9 months out of the year. And so Antonio and Leandro can kind of run the gym, or some of the other students can run the gym while I'm gone, and I can bring back some new techniques.
Yeah, or arrange for people to come meet up with you over there.
Or have a place to like go back and forth.
Have a place like where they can make that connection and stuff like that too.
Yeah, and that could change too. I mean, my time frame was like about 2 years. I wanted to be doing that, but with building a promotion too, like I don't want to build a promotion up and then
let's start another business. There you go.
Yeah. I don't want to build the promotion up and have like a good platform
and then walk away.
Get fighters excited to come 2 times a year or 3 times a year to Flagstaff to fight, and then it turns into once a year.
Well, one of the things to think about too is like I'm sure you end up having other people on your team that might want to step up to that too.
I love to delegate.
Yeah,
that's what I do in the construction world.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's why you're boss man.
It could be. It could be. I'm good at delegating.
Yeah, well, delegation is leadership, right? And that's one of those things people have a hard time letting go of stuff sometimes. When did you find that you were good at delegating?
When I have things in place and there's a system. I'm big on SOP, and so once I have the system down, like I'm involved in every aspect of this show that we're doing, and the next show I'll delegate a few items to where I won't have to.
You can focus more on the things that actually really matter.
I mean, last weekend I was setting up the ring to make sure that every part was there.
I saw that.
I was able to put together an instruction so that when it comes time to, weigh-in day, I hand the person I've delegated to put it together, I hand them a piece of paper, and I don't have to worry about it at that point. So just putting all the work in prior, making sure that the system's in place, and then I can delegate.
Yeah, then you can go check in on it. Like, hey, all right, cool. They're doing what they're supposed to do. Yeah. I'm sure you put little things in there that allow you to go over and go look to see if they actually followed it.
Probably.
So it's always fun to do. It's like, hey, they're like, how you know it wasn't done? And it was like, well, that paper right here that you're supposed to put in here wasn't there. Oh crap! These little I call them buoys. So it's like you tie down a buoy below water, right? And that's your SOP. And it's like if that buoy's not coming up above water, that means that it's getting done. But as soon as you see that buoy, it's like, oh, something's not getting done over here. Gotta go check on that.
That is a good thing. Maybe I could put make sure there's 2 bottles of water at each ring post.
And it's just a little check-in. Just make sure that people are dotting their I's and crossing their T's. Yeah. When it comes into that, that's things that I've had to learn. I was a terrible delegator. Terrible. Again, with the gray hairs. So I'm only 35, man. So
I got gray hair. I just keep it short.
Oh, is that the secret?
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, I have gray hairs in my if I grow a beard out, it's gray.
Really?
Yeah.
I got just a couple gray hairs.
Okay.
My kids were they were saints. My kids were saints.
You nodding up and down.
They were not.
Well, tell me about this. How did you end up getting into Muay Thai then, Mike? You had a kid at 17.
Funny story. So I grew up in traditional martial arts. I was bullied and stuff. So
really?
Taekwondo and karate. I think I got my black belt in Taekwondo when I was 11.
Your parents put you in martial arts then?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then karate, actually, my old karate instructor now teaches some of the MMA stuff that goes on at my gym.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. So it's
talk about full circle.
Yeah, it is. But no, I grew up in traditional sports or traditional martial arts. And then I also wrestled in high school, junior high, elementary school. Started off as an MMA fighter. And
that was the popular thing.
Pretty decent MMA fighter. I was supposed to have an MMA fight, didn't fall through. I had a coach that thought I was the world's greatest striker. It was like, hey, there's Muay Thai fights this weekend. You want to fight? I said, sure.
Where was this?
It was at the Wild Horse Pass Casino It was like 2007 maybe. And I fought one of Bob Carmel's, Master Bob Carmel's champion dudes. And
do you remember the guy's name?
Brandon Jaffe.
Brandon Jaffe. I have to ask him.
Yeah,
because I remember he was telling me about the Wild Horse Pass Casino when they were doing shows there back.
It was
then.
cool. This was back before.
So this gives all our listeners, anybody that's listening, this gives you context to like the shit, like Jim 12 years fighting way back then. So this is kind of where I'm kind of tying this in.
I showed up with my Muay Thai shorts on, nice and short, my spandex to my knees. I had my wrestling knee brace on, and I was bouncing around looking like a Karate Kid out there. And anyways, Brandon got a hold of me, put me down 3 times. This was back before there was like a sanctioning body for Muay Thai. It was like before Muay Thai really got going. Yeah, and it was sanctioned by Arizona Boxing Commission, and so they had 3 knockdown rule. I didn't get knocked out, but they stopped the fight because it was 3 knockdowns. One of them probably was a flash knockdown. 2 of them were legitimate knockdowns. Yeah. And but it was TKO first round.
It was like, but
Danny Brandt was actually cornering this guy. And I started training with Danny like the next week.
So Danny cornered. So there's one of the ring officials, Sean, one of Bob's guys. He used to he's one of the inspectors and stuff like that.
Sean Kluber?
Yeah. So me and him fought at Master Toddy's in Las Vegas in like 2009, and Danny Brandt was cornering him. And I didn't realize it until he's like, "Oh, Danny cornered me." I looked at the pictures. I'm like, "No shit." So it's like seeing all this stuff come back. Like,
yeah, it's very small community.
Very small, especially like the Southwest region, California, Arizona, and Nevada. Like, it's a very transient sport where like we all. It's like, oh, I heard there's a fight in Vegas this weekend. You going?
Yeah, right.
There's a fight in Flagstaff. Like, what's going on? Hey, who fighting? Oh, you're fighting. Cool, I'll be there. I have to drive 6 hours. Yeah, I'll be there. But I think that's one of the things that really makes Muay Thai grow, too, is having this group of really passionate people. And obviously, now it makes sense why you're doing the fights and stuff even more. You're saying like, hey, I want to delegate this. Like, man, I'm looking forward to seeing where your promotion's at in 2 years, right?
It'd be awesome to have a solid foundation built at that point in a place that, people want to come and fight. They're like, oh, can't wait for the next Monster Promotions to come over.
Oh, we're documenting it right now. Yeah. All right, so 2 years from now, all right, we'll see where it's at from there, and I'm sure it's good. Like, I know it's gonna grow. So I know you're doing a really good job with the matchmaking and everything like that too, and you take that stuff very seriously because you've done it for some other promotions and stuff like that before too. And those had great matches.
I take pride in great matches. I mean, we all want to see something good. It's even like what I tell my students when we're fighting, I'd rather my debuter fight someone that's got 3 fights. Get the jitters out, your opponent doesn't have the jitters. The opponent isn't going to be overly aggressive and come running at you. Mm-hmm. Those jitters are gone. They know what to expect. And it makes for a more of a true technical Muay Thai fight.
Like an actual Muay Thai fight.
I hate when my students don't use they
just brawl.
Muay Thai.
They get like excited.
Yeah. I had a guy make his debut at the Celebrity Theater SAA show, and he was like, it was a 10-8 round or maybe even a 10-7 round, the first round 1, and he just boxed him. All he did was throw his hands in. I've never yelled at a fighter like I yelled at him. I was like, "What are you doing? This is Muay Thai. Throw some kicks, throw some elbows.
Like, come on, man! Like everything we practice.
He's like, I can knock him out." I said, "You're gonna find this water bottle in this corner by itself if you don't start throwing some kicks." We have it on camera, like me yelling at him.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. I'll have to send it to you.
Please. I want to see it because that's part of like these stories, and this is something that's very Muay Thai. What you're saying, it's like my Thai trainer used to always tell me. He would say, "Hey, if you feel like you can knock it out, don't do it. Like, play with your techniques because you don't get to spend that time in the ring, especially as an amateur, right? Before when I was fighting, you'd be lucky to fight twice a year. Yeah, right. That was like considered active. Yeah, right. Now it's like you fight like every month, every 2 months.
I used to tell Antonio Antonio was really good as a kid. I mean, he had at one of the TBA tournaments in the finals, he had one of the kids screaming for help in the second round. And then he put him to sleep. He was 11. And we put him to sleep in the third round. But I used to tell him, and I tell all my students, hey, let's get our rounds. Let's get the rounds in. Doesn't matter how bad we win. Obviously, going to Boston, the stakes are higher. We want a knockout.
That's what all those rounds were for.
Yeah,
right. That's what all those rounds were for, so you can see it.
But like Julieta, one of my other students, she's been training 2 years now. She just had her 2-year anniversary. She's got 10 fights, 27 rounds of experience.
And that's a lot in 2 years. Yeah, that was unheard of before.
Yeah,
that was like, you were like, wait, what? What are you doing? Like, where did you get those at?
We have people like, I had this girl. Her name was Emma, and she was her second fight. And she was fighting at the Samurai show, and we put her up against Megan McNeely's. You probably know. She's been around in Arizona.
Yeah,
she got I think she had 5 fights, and this is my girl's second fight, and she's only been training 3 months. And we have an open gym, so some of the other gyms come to our open gym, and we're like, oh yeah, she fights next week, and they're like, oh, where are you fighting? It was Samurai. And they're like, cool. You're gonna wear headgear and stuff? Like, no, not wearing any pads. They're like, oh man, you're brave. What about elbows? She's like, oh yeah, I'm throwing elbows. And they're like, why? Like you only have 2 fights.
So
that's what
This is, but again, inherently Muay Thai, because it's like you practice with the elbow, you practice with the knee. Why would you get rid of your weapons?
Yeah.
Like, why? You're not planning on getting elbows in the dome.
We are the show we're putting in Flagstaff. It's, I've had coaches say, well, we don't want to throw elbows. We don't want to do this. Can we wear headgear? I'm not a big fan of headgear, so none of the adults will be wearing headgear.
Yeah.
3 fights and under, they'll be wearing shin guards, but everybody's throwing elbows. There's one kid fight that's 9 years old.
Oh yeah.
They're not throwing elbows, but that's one of maybe 13 fights.
That's cool. You having the kids on there. Is that like that? Is it with head contact or no head contact?
Yeah,
head contact.
Full rules except for that one fight. So we have there's I think a pair of 8-year-olds will be full rules. Then there's a pair of 9-year-olds that just because parents didn't want the elbows, but we still want.
I guess
we still want them to fight. They're both. So,
that's so cool. The parents are even getting them in there though. At night.
Yeah,
that's good. And it's free to put them on there as a promoter too. That's
one of them's 3-0 and one of them's 2-0. So it's going to be a good fight.
Ah, nice.
Besides the elbows, it's okay. But everybody else, the adults are saying, well, I don't want to throw elbows. Well, then go fight on another show that doesn't allow them. We want to stay true to the roots of Muay Thai.
Yeah, some people don't understand is I've talked about it. Was Arizona was allowing elbows for amateurs, California was not. So when they started allowing elbows in California for amateurs and people opt to, I would be like, what? Like, what are you doing? Like, we spent all this time to get this to happen, and now you're saying you want to go back? Like, it just didn't make sense. Like, why are you doing Muay Thai then? Like, just what are you worried about? That's just my personal opinion. I think it goes on I think some coaches, it might be a confidence thing in their fighter, right? I don't know, right? But it takes out one less factor that maybe they're not prepared for yet, or they think they might not be prepared for yet. But I like hey, no, this is what you're doing.
Let it be an option for them and get them used to wearing the elbow pads. It's really more protection for them, because if they catch a kick, they got an elbow pad on their arm. So
and if they kick somebody's elbow, they have elbow pad on it.
Yeah, you don't want to kick. You don't want to kick no one's elbow. Remember when I fought Travis Clay, and it was the first round of the fight, and I kicked his elbow, and I broke my foot in the first round of the fight.
Oh,
it was yeah. I couldn't walk because he was southpaw too, so that was it was my right leg, so I couldn't block any of his kicks with my lead leg, and so he ate up the inside of my leg for the next 4 rounds.
Damn. But those goes into experience. You were saying here's the thing. And I've seen it time and time again. For me, I by no means as a good fighter. I liked fighting. I'm like a journeyman. I never said no. I said, yeah, put me in. Because, again, we weren't active. If there's activity, I wanted to be it. Yeah, you got a spot for me? Sure, put me in. Who is it I'm fighting? Fuck it. All right. So, I've had that happen before. And that's how I met Bob, actually. How I actually met him face-to-face was I have to hey, you want to fight in 2 weeks in Arizona? Sure, yeah. Hey, so who am I fighting? Oh, Nick Chastain. Oh, okay. I'm I know who he was. I'm like, fuck, man, I just saw him knock some guy out. So it's same shit. Fucking, beat my ass by, he domed me with a spin back elbow. And then, he dropped me. I remember I'm surprised the ref even let it go. I held it, and I looked at the video. I'm like, oh, I held it together. Because my eyes are my head was doing this, right? But that helped me a lot for my coaching, though. Because I knew what it is like to be in the ring and what it takes and the kind of training that is required, because I wasn't getting it at that time. We were training ourselves. So, this other fighter, I think he's below your weight class, Travis Petralba.
Oh,
Yeah.
So, like, we all trained together. We grew up together. I've known him since he was 12. So, seeing, like, we'd hold pads for each other. He started training a couple years after me, and we just used to spar and kind of, like, figured it out. That's what we did. And now you have coaching, you have mentorship, you have experience, right? You've been in the ring, you know what it takes to be at that point. And, I think that is what really actually makes a good coach who can understand that and knows what their students need, much less their son, to get to that level too.
Yeah.
So much respect to you for doing what you do, man.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, and it's a lot of unpaid fucking free work too.
Oh yeah. No, I've never taken a paycheck for my gym.
Really?
Never. It all goes to traveling to wherever we need to go. It's my passion. I have a job that pays my bills, and as long as my gym stays open, doors are on, lights are on, I won't take a profit from my gym. I put it right back to the gym.
Reinvesting in Muay Thai. Yeah, doubling down on it. And that's very respectable because it's like there's a lot of people who can't say that, right? But do you think, like, when it comes into that stuff too, having your construction business, does that help kind of balance that, where it's like, hey, I'm cool with, like, keep all that there? Or do you feel like there's a lot of sacrifice that's involved in that aspect too?
No, I don't think there's much sacrifice involved in
like
in
the financial thing.
They're both separate. Yeah, I keep a good control on the separation of the two.
Be able to take those hats a little bit easier than the dad and coach hat.
Yeah, I mean, my construction company, not my construction company, but the company I work for, they're full supporters. I mean, they love that I, what I do, and fully support it. They come in and sponsor different fighters to go places, and they sponsor the team for team stuff, and they're a big supporter of the show coming up. So, I don't. Like I said, as long as the gym's open and it's available for people, the more I can give back to the students, and and even at that, it's still, coaches never, even if a coach is making money from the gym, it's never enough.
No,
it's never.
No, they're always doing extra stuff. It's like
holding pads, getting Antonio ready for this fight. I had to go to the chiropractor twice a week. This dude could crack some pads.
So when dad's older, you take really good care of him. And well, kind of just to circle on to this, how can people find your gym?
So we just have an Instagram and a Facebook. We don't really do much more than that.
Okay, what's your Instagram?
It's Monster Muay Thai 928, I think.
Okay.
928
Monster Muay Thai.
Okay, I'll make sure to put that down in the show notes for anybody that's listening or watching. It'll be down there. And how can they follow you, Antonio, for all your fight stuff that you got going on?
I just have Instagram right now. No Facebook. It's Antonio _Martinez 32, I believe.
All right, we'll make sure to get it. I'll get it on the show notes. You're focused on the fight, so I'm looking forward to seeing your fight coming up at No Boundaries this Saturday. Mike, Antonio, pleasure having you both in here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you want to give a shout? Yeah, you want to give a shout out to anybody? I know you got sponsors, man.
I didn't really take too many for this fight.
Oh, nice.
I just got back. Well, I was supposed to fight. I got back from Thailand in the beginning of March, and I was supposed to fight in the beginning of April. But something happened with my opponent, and they pushed the fight back to June.
Got it.
So kind of just going out there just for the fight. That's it.
Yeah. Well, best of luck to you guys. And again, thanks for coming on. Anybody that's on here, I'll make sure to have everything for Mike and Antonio in the show notes. Look forward to seeing you guys around the valley, seeing you come back, hopefully with that nice green leather around the waist, right?
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, that's going to be it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in today to the Pu'u Muay Thai Podcast. If you enjoy the content, go leave a review over on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. Give us a rating. It means the world to us. Also, if you want to be a guest on the Pu'u Muay Thai Podcast, or if you just want to shout out to your friend, Go check us out at podcast.pu'umuaythai.com. You can submit to be able to be a guest on the podcast. You can submit what you want to talk about. Also, if you want to just give a shout out, there's a button for that too. So what do you cop?